Hi, this is Johnny Avanti and welcome back to another video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the most talked about car on YouTube right now, on the internet. This car has been anticipated for the last 20 years. And what car is this? It is the 2020 Toyota Supra. Yes, the iconic Toyota Supra is back. And what is everybody talking about? Everybody's talking about why this car is not a Toyota. So let's talk about and find out why this car is not a Toyota. Stay tuned. So as you can see below me is the 2020 Toyota Supra, and above it is the 2020 BMW Z4. I don't think the 2020 BMW Z4 is out yet, because if you search the internet, you really can't find a 2020 BMW Z4. What pops up is a 2019 BMW Z4. And when you do type in 2020 BMW Z4, what pops up? The 2020 Toyota Supra. So Toyota and BMW partnered in this car, and both of them are pushing the Supra, you know, and versus 2020 Z4, because the Z4 has been around a long time. Everybody knows what the Z4 is. You could buy them used and cheap. There's no hype about that car because of the 2020 Toyota Supra is new, and Toyota wants to really push this car. You know, they may drop the FRZ 88 or the 88 or the FRZ. The FRZ 88 is a Subaru clone. So perhaps there's not going to be enough room for two roadsters. But, you know, don't forget, the FRZ has a rear seat. This Toyota Supra does not. And let's start by taking a look at the 1998, the outgoing Toyota Supra twin turbo. And let's take a look and see how the similarities are. So there is the 1998 Toyota Supra in silver, and next to it is the 2020 Toyota Supra in silver. So what I think they did is they simply took a Z4 and put some panels on it, changed the front hood, the grille a little bit, and they called it a day. You know, they called it a Supra, because this is in fact a Z4. It is made in Germany. It's not made in Japan. So you're not buying a Japanese car. You're buying a German-made car, Bavarian Motor Works. That's what you're buying. You know, so Toyota probably made all the emblems for the car in Japan, and they shipped them over to Germany for the Germans to put the emblems on, and they're assembling this car. They're putting this car together. They're building the engine. They're building the transmission, all of that stuff. Where the 1998 Toyota Supra inline 6, just like the 2020, was all Japanese, all Toyota, bulletproof, interchangeable transmissions, meaning that, like, if you bought this car with an automatic, you can simply go out, purchase a manual transmission and swap it out. You know, and it would fit right in with the engine and the rear end. So everything would work in harmony, whether you want an automatic or a stick shift. You know, if you had the money, you probably could have went to the track with a stick shift, and then when you got home, switched it out and put the automatic in to drive it during the week in traffic. That could have been one of the reasons for that. But that's what Toyota did. They made this car tunable, and it was tuned, and you could find them with 1,000 horsepower. So now the 2020 Supra, Toyota had the same idea in this car, and it was to bring it out, not completely bare bones, but to make it tunable. And we're going to go into that later on. So let's start by taking a look at the interiors. So taking a look at all three dashboards, you can see that the 2019 BMW Z4 has a pretty nice dashboard. I mean, the GPS system is integrated in the dashboard, or it looks like that. It's pretty big. I mean, compared to the minuscule one that's in the Toyota Supra that it looks like it came out of a 3 Series or maybe a 2 Series or the old 1 Series. And it doesn't look like it's worth the money that you're paying for this car. And I heard that this car is going to range between $65,000 and $100,000. Now, that's pretty insane. If you look at the 1998 Toyota Supra, you can see that the dashboard actually looks like a cockpit. Like someone is in there and you're going to drive that car and everything is at the driver's fingertips. Easy to get at, easy to see, you know, with standard race car gauges like the speedometer, the tachometer, the coolant temperature, the probably oil pressure, the fuel gauge, battery gauge. So, I mean, that's what people want. That's what I think the 2020 Toyota Supra should have had. It should have had old school technology with a new modern engine that could have been tuned just like the old engine. So perhaps, you know, Toyota could have simply said to BMW, listen, you know, we want this car to be a tunable muscle car. We don't need an iDrive system. We don't need a fancy sound system, because when people tune it, they're going to want to put their own sound systems, or they're not even going to want a sound system because they're going to take this car to the track. You know, this is a driver's car. This is not going to be a Sunday car or a luxury roadster like the Z4 is meant to be. Toyota was trying to solve two problems: being a luxury roadster and being a muscle car. I think it should have stuck with either or, and probably went in the muscle car direction, because this way it would have really set itself apart and took away a lot of the BMW stuff. You know, like the infotainment system. That's exactly the same as all BMWs get. And that's pretty sad. I mean, the other thing Toyota could have done is eliminate power windows. You know, eliminate those motors. Eliminate all that heavy stuff. You know, because once again, you know, people are going to want to put roll bars in here. You know, if you go drag racing and you're going to get into serious track driving and drag racing, you're going to want roll bars. You're going to want to beef this car up. You're not going to want to pissy around with a nice little stereo system, you know, playing Justin Bieber. You know, you're going to want a muscle. You're going to want a man's car, because that's what's going to tune it. You know, you might get a couple chicks, females, ladies, you know, on YouTube, you know, tuning these cars. But the main people going to tune this car is going to be men. You know, some men, you know, they're into mechanics, that like to get dirty, like to get greasy. They don't want none of that stuff. They want a stripped out car that they can like tune and tamper with and make it their own. You know, but why are they going to play with a iDrive system? That's not what people, you know, that's not what this car's meant to be, Toyota. And I think you should bring out a model without it. You know, just take that little iPad out of the dashboard so the driver has better visibility. There's no distraction. Because people could just use their phone if they really need a GPS to help them get to where they want to go. And just have a simple radio in there with Bluetooth, and people are going to be more than thrilled to buy the car like that. So here you have the three interiors of the three cars. The first one is the 1998 Toyota Supra. Then with the brown interior is the 2019-2020 BMW Z4 and the acclaimed 2020 Toyota Supra. Now you're going to notice one big difference between these three cars, and that is in the 1998 Toyota Supra that it has a back seat. A back seat is a very good idea technically in any coupe, because what it does is it puts it in a different insurance category. It makes it more of a coupe, less of a sports car, less of a roadster. It just adds more practicality to the car as well. You can take more passengers. You can fit more cargo. The cargo area in the 1998 Toyota Supra is a lot better than the cargo area in the 2020 Toyota Supra or the BMW Z4. Not only that, it gives the driver a lot of range of motion in the seat to get into a more comfortable position, to take longer rides, and to make it into a daily driver. So if you did decide to buy the Toyota Supra, you might have a hard time daily driving this car because of the lack of, movability of the seat, especially like if you're a really tall person. You're going to have a little bit short of leg room, because I've been in the Z4 and I did find it to have not that much room in it, and it is kind of cramped inside. Because let's say, for instance, you want to bring your suitcase or your jacket and you want to, put some stuff in the back. You can't do that in the Toyota Supra. It's just not that practical of a car. I mean, take a look at the hatchback in the Toyota Supra. You'll see it's a really small area, and you can't just like reach in the back and get something, your briefcase, water, whatever it may be that you want to put back there. You're gonna have to pull over and open the hatch and get whatever you want to get. Where at least in the 1998 Toyota Supra, you had that ability to just reach in the back and grab stuff and just take a lot of stuff with you. Now, if you look at the BMW versus the Toyota Supra, you're going to see the BMW is a lot more plush, a lot more luxurious, a lot more, it's going to have a lot more pizzazz, right? So that's going to bring the insurance value down a lot, because the insurance companies are going to know that no one's really going to take this BMW Z4 on the track and tune it, because there's just too many luxury features in here to go out and spend all that money, rip it all out just to make it a tuner car, when there's so many more cars out there that will be able to be tuned than buying a Z4. And people are going to think probably the same way with the Supra, that it's almost trying to be like a muscle car and a entry level sports car where you can tune it. So here we have the three engines of each car that we've been talking about: the 1998 Toyota Supra, the 2019-2020 BMW Z4, and the acclaimed 2020 Toyota Supra. So you can see like the Toyota Supra has basically, what every other car has today, is an engine cover. Why a sports car in that category needs an engine cover? Like, who cares? Because this car is meant to be worked on. You know what I mean? It's designed to be taken on the track. It's designed to be tuned. So if you look at the BMW above it, you'll see it has braces on it, right? For a tighter suspension, for tighter cornering. The Toyota Supra doesn't have it. Why? Because they want the new owners to put them on. So if you don't want to tune it and drive the car hard, you don't have to. If you're just going to daily drive it, you really don't need all that. So here BMW has put it in, and here BMW has taken it out. Even with the wing that's on the 1998 Toyota Supra, Toyota decided they weren't going to put a wing on it, but they were going to give the new owners placements, screw holes, so you can actually put a wing on it if you decided to add a wing to it. So that's another feature that Toyota left out. So you can see in the 1998 Toyota Supra, it had just a straight up cross brace. Now I'm not sure if you can put it on the 2020 Toyota Supra. Maybe if you take that cover off, they'll aftermarket manufacturer will design something that goes across the top and on the side, where from the front fender to the strut mounts, it'll all fit together, and the car will be a lot tighter, but it'll be stiffer. So you can see The 1998 was a turbocharged engine, and the 2020 is not. It's naturally aspirated, 330 horsepower. So both of the 98 and 2020 makes about the same horsepower because of like just the technology that they have today with the transmissions and the drivetrains and all that. That they could just get that much more horsepower out of it. The computer systems, everything is just so much better, and they can make more horsepower. Where the BMW, you can buy a 4-cylinder, 240 horsepower, I believe, Z4, or you can get a 6-cylinder turbo, 380 something horsepower, Z4. So, I mean, you can go online and search for the 98 or any Toyota Supra that's been worked on that's going to cost as much as the 2020 Supra. That's going to be like between 7 and 1,000 horsepower. They're all over the board. Like the horsepower increases. Like Toyota should have looked at what Nissan did. Nissan, they wanted a muscle car. They wanted to compete with the 911. They wanted to compete with the C63, the E63. They wanted to compete with the Porsche Boxster, I believe it is. With the Corvette, with all these sports cars, the Z37 or the Z370, even the Infiniti class of the Z370, they came out and they designed their own car. They took a stock engine and went off of that. And I believe that's what Toyota should have done. They should have forgot about the inline six. They could have took, let's say, like the i350 all-wheel drive and made that into a coupe. Made that into the Toyota Supra. It would have been so much easier. They would have had the back seat. They would have had a practical car. They could have made it into a hatchback. They could have just changed the nose, made it nice, made it lighter, got rid of all the BS in it. Just made it straight up stock. Roll down windows, no entertainment system, none of that. Made that car as light as possible, and it would have been a smash hit. I mean, they could have put the twin turbo 400 and I think 80 horsepower or 400 and something horsepower engine that's in the LS 500 right now, and they would have had a terrific car, and they could have made that engine tunable. They could have did away with a lot of the electronics that's in the engine and whatever, and just made it a more desirable car than to just simply rebadge a Z4 and have it made in Germany and really not have the reliability that people go to Toyota for. That's why people buy Toyotas, because they want that reliability. They feel they're simpler cars, they're easy to maintain, and they're just drivable cars. With a BMW, everybody knows that they're not the most trouble-free cars. You're going to have problems down the road because of the cheap parts they use. So Lexus and Toyota could have done, many things to have made a Toyota Supra a Toyota, a Japanese car. They could have probably wowed the whole auto industry by bringing back a Toyota inline 6-cylinder engine, and everybody would have been thrilled. Everybody would have been happy, because you can see when you watch a lot of the YouTube videos, a lot of people they're trying to make it out the Supra to be a great car, but really everyone, in my opinion, like myself, is disappointed that Toyota took the direction that they went in with the Toyota Supra, that people, have been waiting 20 years to see the new Toyota Supra. I mean, if people could have cared less about the Supra and it didn't have the notability that it has, Toyota would have never bought it back. Not only that, it's going to be, I think, hard for Toyota to bring back the Toyota Celica. Like the mistake they made with that car. They put a Yamaha engine in it, and it was just riddled with problems. It just wasn't a good car. When Toyota had many four-cylinder engines that they could have just put in the car. They had the MR2. There was just so many things that they could have done that, you know, they took the easy route. So let's hope Toyota decides to redo the Supra and design a six-cylinder engine that's Japanese, that's Toyota, because people want Japanese. People want Toyota. People like Toyota. You know, there's a lot of fans out there. You know, they drive pickup trucks. There's just a lot of, Toyota people out there. I mean, take a look at the new Toyota Camry. You know, it's 300 and something horsepower. It's only 30 horsepower less than the Supra. And it's front-wheel drive, and it's practical. You know, and the car's fast. It's a fast car. It's 300 horsepower. You know, the Supra's 330 horsepower naturally aspirated. I bet you can tune the engine that's in the Toyota Camry and probably make the same horsepower that they're going to try to make Toyota Supra. So I want to thank everybody for watching the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.